Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to the Power of You. We have Miss Leslie Owen with us today from the San Antonio chapter, talking all things website. And I don't know about y'all, but I need this one desperately. So, ma'am, I am turning the microphone over to you, and you can take us from here. And we will be answering questions at the end. So, if anyone has questions, just put them in the chat and we'll be answering all those at the end.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tanya, for the wonderful introduction. And yes, I do hope that more of our friends get to show and join us because I love being in a room of powerful women. That is exactly why I decided to join NABO. I'm from the San Antonio chapter. We have a very large chapter here. And so when I had the opportunity to be able to speak on a national level through NABO National, I jumped at the chance. So today we are going to talk all about how to build a website that works as hard as you do. Because if I know anything about female business owners, it's that we work very hard. We work extremely hard. And we want to make sure that a platform as important as your website should really be pulling its weight. Now, as I mentioned, I love being in a room of powerful business owners. And the thing is that I wasn't always that way. You know, I wasn't always this woman that you see in front of you, very confident, knowing exactly what she wants. This is me many years ago when I had 4 children under the age of 7. So this little boy right here is probably 7. She's 6 at the time. He's about 4. And this little girl is about 3 months. So back then, self-care, was a luxury. It was not something that I got very much of. And I actually considered getting my eyebrows waxed a form of self-care. And so many people may look at me and say, I don't know how having hot wax applied to your face is relaxing. Well, when you get to lay down and be uninterrupted for about 20 minutes in silence, being able to close your eyes, you better believe that that was definitely a form of self-care. So I had gone in for my bi-weekly eyebrow wax, and this time I didn't have my normal wax lady. She was actually on maternity leave, and so she told me, don't worry, Zoya has you. Zoe's got you. Tell her what you want, and she'll take care of you. So I got my normal eyebrow wax, but if any of you are mothers on the call, you know that being postpartum and pregnancy does a lot of things with your hormones. And so for me, being postpartum, I was still fuzzy around my sideburns. And so I also requested to get my sideburns waxed. So I looked at my eyebrows, they looked fantastic. Zoe did a great job. And then I transitioned to ask for her to wax my sideburns. And so when she began to apply the wax, the warm sensation didn't end at my jawline. It actually went way past up beyond my ear. And that was a little confusing because that's the first time I had felt it go all the way up there. But I thought to myself, no, Zoya has me. She's going to take care of me. And so when she went to go lay down the wax strip and pulled it, the pain that normally ended right here on my jawline went all the way past my ear. And I thought to myself, I think Zoya literally waxed off my sideburn. And she handed me the mirror, and to my horror, I no longer had a right sideburn. It was completely gone. And she looked down on me laying there and asked, do you want me to do the other side? And I looked up at her and I said, yes, because I was not that powerful, confident woman that you see standing here in front of you today. And so you better believe that after she waxed off the left side of my sideburn, I got my stuff, got out of there, went back to work, locked myself in an office, and of course, recorded a video for my very best friends because they had to share in the horror that was my sideburn-less face. And so for your complete entertainment, I found that video and I'm going to show it to you today. The audio may be a little hard to hear, but you really don't need to hear anything because a picture is worth 1,000 words. I see people cringing on the call. Uh, So I hadn't even told my husband. In fact, I just recently showed my husband this video in preparation of building this slide deck because I was so horrified. And I wore my hair in front of my face for months and never put it up because you don't realize how much you need sideburns to balance out your appearance in your face. So you're probably wondering, Leslie, what does this have to do with websites? Well, let me tell you, ladies, what we think we're communicating often doesn't land with our audience, right? Communications don't happen, connections get missed, and clients ultimately slip away. So my big question to you is, what are you not communicating on your website? What is being missed? And is it costing you customers and clients? Well, there is a statistic that says that 88% of people that have a bad experience on your website will never return. So let's talk about what a bad experience could be. Well, it could be a slow loading. It could be a link that's broken. It could be a confusing navigation bar. Like they don't know where to go. There could be too many things in your navigation bar and they're overwhelmed. It could be something that they thought was a link and it's not. So they start they start rage clicking because they don't understand why this won't work and why it won't get them to where they want to go. That type of experience can make 88% of people never return to your website. So that means 9 out of 10 of your clients or customers won't return to your site. But let's kind of break that down and quantify it a little bit more. So how many customers or clients are we losing each month with that type of statistic? So the average small business website gets about 400 users a month. So 400 people coming to your website a month. Now, if they had a bad experience, that means that's only leaving 50 potential customers or clients. Now, how many of those customers or clients will actually convert? How many of them will actually take an action on your website? So let's do a side by side. Let's compare a good website and a bad website and what we call a conversion rate. So a conversion rate is the number of people that come to your website with the people that actually click on something and take an action. So a conversion rate for your standard website is usually around 2.35%. So if 414 people came to your website and they had a good experience, and that would leave after the conversion rate about 10 customers. And if you had an average sale of a product or a service around $1,000, that's $10,000 for the month and $120,000 for the year. In comparison to a bad website, 414 people come, only one converts. If you had an average sale of $1,000, it's only $1,000 for the month, and then a yearly revenue of $12,000. So there's a big gap there that many of us may not be realizing our website is costing us. And so we want the website to be making money. And today I want to help you fix that. So clients are very much more interested in feeling an emotional connection with the business and understanding the services. This could not be more true in what we are living in right now. Today, we are in the midst of an AI revolution. In fact, people are calling it a second renaissance. They are so used to having conversations with a machine, with a bot that feels so extremely human. It's now becoming less and less. People have less and less tolerance to get on a platform and not have that same experience. So making sure and ensuring that your website feels like it cares and connects with the person on the other side could not be more important than it is today. So I have a framework that's a 7 elements to building a website that works as hard as you do. And today we're going to go through 2 of them. We're going to go through building a brand and website that reflects care and connection. And then we're going to talk about attracting the right clients through purposeful marketing. But you may be looking at me right now and saying, Leslie, we don't even have to go one step further. I already know my website sucks. I already know, Leslie, I already know that I have website shame, which is what we call it, and that I don't want to send anybody to it. I'd rather them just send me an email directly, or I'll give them a business card that has my social media platforms on there, because anything that I can do to not let them go to my website is better than them seeing an outdated and irrelevant platform that I'm not proud of. And so if that's you, Tanya has a wonderful download that I sent her that she will email to you after this presentation, because it is our framework for effective website design. And this is going to give you section by section how your homepage should be designed, the copy that it should have, the type of images that it should have. And this is going to help you right away. Take this download and then apply it to your homepage, which is the most visited page on your website. So if that's you, no worries, we got you. You don't have to wait till the end of the presentation. Now, going back to what I was saying about connection, connection is a human need, right? It's a part of those hierarchy of needs. Connection and community is right there with our need for food and shelter. We are not meant to be alone. Now, I don't know about you, but there are some people in this world that feel like they have better connections with animals. Is there anyone on the call that feels like, you know what, I think I connect better with animals than I do with human beings? And if that is the case and that is you, then you're very much like my husband. My husband very much feels like his little Australian Shepherd, Owen, is a much better friend and way more connected than human beings. And so this is who he considers his best friend. Now, in my opinion, I'm not a very big dog person. We have dogs, but I'm not a really big dog person. If you were to ask me what is woman's best friend, well, then I would say it's this. I love this little thing. We just got it. I know a lot of people already have it. He's going back after doing a morning's worth of work, and I just feel so supported and seen. And he comes on and cleans the whole downstairs. He doesn't complain. He just listens. He just does his job. I feel so seen, so valued. And there he goes, going back to dog. Thank you so much, my friend. Well done. I love that thing. I love it. I love that I don't have to worry about all the dog hair that the dogs produce. And I feel extremely connected. And you know, so I started sharing this keynote almost a year ago. And my one point, my PowerPoint, which is still on here, the PowerPoint is you cannot have a connection with a machine. But today, it's August 2025, and there are countless articles that are coming out that people are having real connections with AI. There was a TV, I think it was a news article that came out. It was a reel that I saw of a man that proposed to his AI girlfriend, and she accepted, and he was very happy. He was also married, so it was very, very confusing. But this is the reality that we're living in. I used to say just 9 months ago that you cannot have a relationship with a machine. But the truth is that people do have relationships with machines. I don't know if you've named your chat GPT. I don't know if you treat your chat GPT like your bestie or like your therapist, but we are engaging in conversations with this thing as if it knows us like another human being. And so the point is, in marketing, your website can feel like just another machine, static, but it shouldn't. It should be the heartbeat of your business, reflecting you and creating human connection, because this is the standard now. So the way that I view websites in regards to your marketing strategy is I don't see it as a siloed platform off by itself, not doing anything, feeling embarrassing because we don't want anyone to go with it. I See your website as the heart of your marketing strategy, where everything comes and goes from. So just like the heart pumps energy into all of your limbs in your brain, so should your website be pumping and producing energy to those marketing tactics that you are utilizing. And those marketing tactics should be sending people back to the heart of your marketing strategy. And so you see things like Google Ads, your social media, YouTube, an SEO strategy, direct mail, email campaigns, all of these things. Sometimes we put these at the center because we believe that this is going to fix it all. But we don't realize that we aren't utilizing and leverage a platform like our website to truly be the home base for everything in our marketing and in our business. But when we treat our website like a digital brochure, and so maybe you resonate with this, maybe your website feels like a whole bunch of information, it's static. Maybe it's a lot about you because you didn't know what else to talk about. And you figured, well, I need to let people know that I'm accredited. I need to let people know that they can count on me, that I'm an authority in this space, and I need to let them know everything that I offer. And so websites end up being this glorified about me page. And there's no actual connection and recognition of the problem and the pain points that your client or customer is having because it's all about you. And so when we keep it business focused instead of client centered, we're lacking trust and loyalty. We're lacking that connection. So I want to walk you through a case study of a large mental health group practice that we helped transition from a digital brochure to a living, breathing, active platform that truly connects and cares, especially in the space of mental health. So this is a large mental health group that, as you can look at the examples, is very, very information heavy, very text centered. Now, for this group practice, they were getting 1,000 users to their website a month, right? Now, for the entire year in 2021, they only got 300 people to convert. So 300 people to take an action, fill out a contact form on their website. So that's not a very high conversion rate of 12,000 people that came for the year and only 300 converted. And they were not happy with that. So we came in and we looked at this website and this platform and clearly saw that it was not exuding empathy and care and connection. And there were some big misses in their social media. This color green was just a little bit off-putting, and the pictures were all stock photography. So it really didn't help people feel like they knew this mental health group because everything was just like a little cute dog with a hat and random people that they clearly knew was a stock photo. So when we came in and completely rebuilt their website, one of the first things that we did was recommend brand photography. And so these are actual LPCs at the clinic, and this is an actual patient that gave permission for us to use her likeness and was a model for this shoot. Now you can see how this exudes care and connection. And let's go ahead and jump in and read this headline. We get it. Overcoming your depression feels hopeless, and we're here to help. That's a clearly empathetic line. The spacing on the design makes it easy for people to know what to do next. This call to action button is clear. It's calling their name, and it wants them to take what we also created, which is a lead magnet called their TMS quiz. So they had a service called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. And we put a quiz together that helped people see if they were qualified for it. So they went from 300 leads for 2021, and by the time 2024, the end of 2024 came around, they had 1,440 total marketing leads. That was a 380% increase. So how did we do that? How did we end up building a roadmap to take this very cold, distant platform and make it feel like something that people would want to engage with? And so you can take a screenshot of this. This is called the Human Approach Framework. And I love it because it's an acronym for HEART. So it's very easy to remember, especially when we think about how the website should be the heart of your marketing strategy. And so H stands for human-centered, E stands for empathy, A stands for accessible, R is responsive, and T is trustworthy. human-centered. We want simple navigation that doesn't frustrate us. We want to know where we're getting to, and we want it to be very easy to do. We want language that resonates emotionally. Empathy, especially in this case, we want to empathize that we know that there are hundreds and thousands of options when it comes to mental health care providers and how that can be overwhelming. And there may be a lack of trust of providers. We want to use that type of language and address confusion and address maybe some overwhelm. Accessibility is, can you guarantee that your website right now as it is could be accessed by someone that's visually impaired and hearing impaired? So do you have enough contrasting colors for someone that is visually impaired to still be able to engage with your website, or someone that can't hear? Are all of your images labeled with alternative text? And so if there's a screen reader, it could read what your images and describe what your images are. And Google actually goes and grades websites based on their accessibility and will downgrade you if you aren't passing that, because Google wants every website to be accessible. And so that's an important part of the human approach framework. Responsive, fast loading times. Does it look good on mobile? If you were to pull your website right now on your mobile device, does it look good on there? Does it look as good as it does on desktop? And then finally, trustworthy. Are you highlighting customer reviews and testimonials? And another big thing is if you're taking payment on your website, the last thing you want when you type in your URL is to have that in parentheses, it says not secured. I mean, that's a huge red flag for someone, and basically telling them right off the bat, don't trust me because your data could be compromised. So those are things that we incorporated in this website rebuild, and we were able to achieve by utilizing the human approach framework. Now, you may be thinking, wow, okay. Just based off those, I don't think maybe I'm hitting the mark, or maybe I'm hitting it on one or two things, but not on others. We have a very simple auditing tool on our website at Movement Maker, and it takes probably under 5 minutes. You could scan this QR code right now, and it'll take you to a quiz that will walk you through all of that criteria and ask you questions about your current website. And then it will grade you. It'll let you know where it falls on that human approach framework, and then give you some tools in order to help improve it. So if you're kind of questioning whether you hit the mark, this is a really easy, simple way for you to determine that right off the bat. But connection is really just the beginning. And being seen as the thought leader in your field is what actually leads to conversions, right? We don't want people to just come on our website and feel like, wow, they really get me. We want them to stick around. We want them to know that we really understand where they're coming from, their pain points, and that we have content. We have content that will really help them in this journey that they're on. So a huge player, and what inspires me when I think about being the thought leader, the head honcho in a space, I don't know about you, but Disney World. We went to Disney World in July this past summer. And when you think about Disney World, amongst all other theme parks, you know that Disney World is the elite. And everything about that experience that we had last July, I mean, everywhere you went, the restaurants, even standing in line for an hour was still incredibly engaging, because it always gave you like a playground for your eyes, a playground for your senses. You were never bored. You weren't even bored when you were in line, because there was constantly something for you to look at. And they didn't just get the happiest place on earth, that title, the happiest place on earth, for nothing. Multiple sources, multiple people reinforce that claim that this is the happiest place on earth. And that is why millions of people travel from across the globe to Florida to go to Disney World. And so when you think about your website, I want you to start thinking about, am I creating not even just the connection and care, but once they're on it, am I creating a digital theme park for them to experience content like they haven't experienced before? And are they encountering other sources that are saying that I am the thought leader in this space? So a website that works as hard as you do doesn't just tell a story. It builds your authority and it earns you notoriety. Now, the reason that these two things are extremely important today is because with this AI revolution, 95% of people in the next 3 years are not going to go to Google anymore to do research. Everyone is going to be going to their AI chat of choice. They're going to be doing all of that research and asking questions, and AI is going to be pulling answers. And if your website is not what we call generative engine optimized, so if it's not created in a way for AI to easily pull excerpts, then you're not going to be listed in those answers. But here's the other thing. People are going to be doing so much research here, there's actually going to be a dip in website clicks. And so all of you may experience a dip in traffic and clicks. But what I can tell you is that when they do get on your website, they will be ready to take action. They will be ready to buy. They will be ready to sign up for things because they are now empowered with a whole lot more information. So I need you to hear this part. I need you to lean in and I need you to hear this part. If your website is not a closer, if your website is not the best salesperson on your team that immediately explains your value, explains the services, gives them pricing information, gives them a way to contact, gives them the process, if you can't close people on your website now, then you better believe that in the next couple of years, you'll be overlooked in so many different ways. This is why at Movement Maker, already today, we have started building what we call resource hubs. And so, if you will, this is what we consider our digital theme park. And so I want to show you an example of what this looks like. So our resource hubs are now not just a place for blogs and articles, okay? So you may have an article section or a blog section, but now it's not enough. We need more than that. And so this is a coach. She's a coach to special needs parents, specifically children with medically complex children. And so you can see on her resource hub, right in the beginning, they can sign up for a newsletter. They are seeing her article page. But then we're also moving into her videos and podcasts. So where Jennifer has been featured on podcasts, and we created a lead magnet, a very compelling lead magnet. This one was the 10 essentials for air travel with your medically complex child. So what's incredible about Jennifer is she wants parents of special needs children to truly believe that they can live a limitless life. And Jennifer and her daughter Kennedy have traveled all over the world by train, by plane, by cruise ship. And so she wants to empower other parents to know how to do this as well. So this lead magnet that we developed, we designed it, it's a download. Look at all the different things that she has in this resource hub for people to play with. She also gave a list of resources for their journey. And so again, people are coming to her to find out all of these things. But I want you to look at this and I want you to think in your mind, look at all that an AI engine would have to pull. I could pull, the resources that she's listing. I can pull articles that she's talking about her own journey. AI can pull so many more things here than it can from a static, basic DIY website. So if you want to be seen as the thought leader in your space, you need to be creating a digital theme park. And then here's the other thing. You need to be looking for places that you can be cited on. So it's not even enough for you to have a standout platform like this. You need to be seeking opportunities to be on publications, to be featured on media outlets, to be a part of your local news. We have a client that is a family dentist. She owns a family dentistry here in our city, and she was placed in the Laredo News, so not even in San Antonio, but in her hometown of Laredo, she was in the Laredo, I think it was like the Morning Star. We took a look at her on AI, so we looked up, I am a family that is looking for a new family dentistry in San Antonio. What are the top family dentistries that I should consider? She wasn't in the top 5, but interestingly enough, she was considered a rising star. So the AI engine said, and the rising star is Dr. Selena Gutierrez, who owns Inwood Family Dentistry. Because of that one article, that's what AI pulled. Do you know how many family dentistries are in my city? Do you know how many family dentistries are in your city? Hundreds. But it's the ones that have gone out and got the media outlets and got the publications and have been featured in the news because AI is looking for citations to make sure that what they're saying is valid. You need both. You need both. So we've talked a lot about two pretty important things: how to make sure that our website cares and connects with those that come to it, and then how to make sure that our website is attracting the right clients through purposeful marketing, and that is through content development and through citations, and really, really intentional digital PR. Now, you may be thinking, okay, this was a lot. I'm so glad I signed up for this because now I feel like I'm equipped for where we are in 2025 and where the economy and the marketplace is going. But what can I do right now? Well, if that's you and you're like, gosh, I don't know what my best next step is, then I want to offer you a free website strategy session today. So if you want me to take a look at your website, if you want me to maybe do an audit based off of our criteria, or if you want to maybe talk strategy on, you know what, Leslie, what type of content should I be creating? And what are the sources that I should be looking to be featured on in my industry that will ensure that I am popping up on these AI engines? All of those questions I would be happy to do for my Nabo sisters. Please scan the QR code and it'll take you to my calendar and you can make sure that we grab some time together. But I want to leave you with one final story. And so this guy who was in the very first picture with me standing behind me, he was 7 at the time. He's now 15. And in our last trip, this was 2 summers ago, we went to Cancun. And when we left to Cancun and we had the airplane was taking off, my younger son, Liam, did not like the takeoff. He was really afraid, very anxious. And so when we were coming back to San Antonio, he wanted to make sure that I was there for him. So he was sitting in front of me. I was sitting behind him. I had my hand ready to grab his hand and I was focused on Liam. And so as we begin to take off, I do hear my name. I hear my name, but it's mom, but it's coming out of a much deeper voice. And I look up and it's my 15-year-old who was also sitting in the row in front of me. And he had his hand extended, reaching back for mine. And you have to realize, moms of teenagers, there's something that happens that your little baby boy all of a sudden doesn't want to give kisses and hugs and doesn't want to hold your hand anymore. And so you better believe that when he extended his hand, I grabbed it. I grabbed it and I held it and I looked down and I just started crying into the book that I was going to read because that connection meant the world to me. Your website has the ability to be the extended hand to those who are needing your services. But when we treat that website like it's an afterthought, like it's really not that important, like I get all of my leads through referrals anyway, so why does it matter? Then you are limiting your ability in this digital age with AI here and not going anywhere. You're limiting your ability to reach so many people because you're refusing to extend your hand. Brene Brown says, connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. I know that every single woman on this call is a woman that is filled with purpose. You wouldn't have signed up to be a Nabo sister if that were not the case. And so you deserve to build a website that works as hard as you do. So again, if you have any questions that you wanted to jump on a call and ask those things about, hey, where are we headed when it comes to digital marketing, I would be happy to do that with you today. But that concludes this portion of the presentation, and we can open it up to questions and answers.
Okay, does anyone have questions before I jump in? Because I got some questions private message to me. Okay, I'm going first then, girl. How much should I expect to invest in a high-performing website? That's a scary question.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one also. So let's talk about the different tiers. So if you're looking, maybe you're very new in business, you're just starting out, I definitely recommend, unless you already have capital, like you've been able to raise some capital and you want to get out of the gate with a high performing website. That's not usually the case. A lot of times, the DIY website, you can expect upwards of maybe, let's say, 1,500 to $1,500. And those will be built on platforms like Wix, like a Squarespace. Um, like a lot of those platforms are also monthly subscription based. So it may not even be an upfront cost. It's you're paying for a Wix subscription and they come with a lot of templates. And so you can really build it out yourself. So for instance, I have a client that is a really big consultant in the people change management space. And she built her website on Squarespace. And the woman who is now 5 years in business that literally just told me that she got done traveling to 6 different cities to consult on change management for 6 large companies is still updating her website by herself. So when you're starting out and you need the landing page, it makes sense. And you could definitely expect some type of monthly subscription or upwards of $1,000. If you're going and you're like, you know what, I think I'm ready to not build it myself. And maybe you are looking for a freelancer or a graphic designer that also does websites, then you could probably put that closer in the range of $1,800 to $3,000. A lot of times, your graphic designer freelancers are not versed in a lot of marketing strategy and business strategy as well. So they're not thinking marketing funnels. They're not thinking about the effects of AI and what you need on your website to ensure that you are able to ride this wave of AI. And so they're going to give you a very good looking front facing website, but they're probably not thinking of a lot of the back end and a lot of the marketing strategy. So this is where we get into that third category, where you're hiring maybe more of an agency that does have that strategic oversight and knows how to connect marketing to business objectives, which is incredibly important. And so now with that, you're looking at closer to $8,000 to $15,000, depending on the agency and depending on the services that you're also signing up for. A lot of times, things like SEO, but then also GEO, so generative engine optimization, are separate costs, and they may not be included. So that's about where you can expect to invest in a website that has the things like all of the resource hubs, it's optimized, all of that care and connection.
So I've heard of SEO. I've never heard of GEO before.
Yes, so GEO is something that has just recently come on to the scene because search engine optimization was when websites needed to be ranked on pages on Google. So if any of you are like me, I'm kind of going to Google less and less and less because I just ask my AI, okay, what should I do with this? And my the way that I even ask AI is very different than the way that I ask Google. When I'm at Google, I think about keywords, top family dentistry in San Antonio. When I'm on AI, I say something like, I have a really bad gag reflex. I'm very sensitive to the whole experience. I have a lot of anxiety. I'm looking for a family dentistry that understands that. You know how I am. So do you see the difference? So a website to just be search engine optimized is no longer enough. We need websites that are generative engine optimized. So generative engine, you could also say artificial intelligence optimization, because we have to now create websites that do things like have a one-line summary and then a 50-word summary. So AI could pull that quick. We need websites that have Q&A sections. We need websites that have FAQ sections because all of those things are easy for AI to pull as answers. So that's why we haven't really heard a lot about GEO, is because if you're hearing it right now, you're actually ahead of the game because there are plenty of business owners that have no clue what it is, and already their websites are being missed on being brought up on AI because of that.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Who else has questions? So someone put in chat earlier, I actually like my website and yet I get no conversions.
Hmm. Well, I guess maybe some clarification on like, right? Because like is very subjective. And let me tell I will be the first to raise my hand and say I am very biased when it comes to my own website because it's my stuff. Like it's me, it's my services. I like it. And so maybe having, was it Gina, did you ask the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Gina.
Yes, I am. Yep, that was me. And I do have another question too.
Oh, good. So when you said like, maybe give me that definition for you on what you like about your website.
I've spent a lot of years kind of building up a blog there. I like my blog that I have old content to I can repurpose. I happen to love some of the pieces of my branding, like the color and the logo. And I was actually just looking at my homepage and I still really like the way it's laid out. I think it's pretty clear. It's got testimonials, it's got a few client logos on there.
Mhm.
So those are things I like about it.
Yeah, so we can have, I mean, our preference. And I think when it comes to this space, it's just I think leaning into the expert, like an expert like us, for us to be able to come alongside of you and audit a website with you and say, yeah, totally get it. Love that you have years worth of blog content. That's a thumbs up. Like that you have a connection to your branding, because I think branding is very personal. And so if we have a logo, an imagery that doesn't reflect us, then there's some dissonance there. So already I'm hearing things. So without seeing it, I'm hearing things that I'm like, that's good. As a designer and a developer, though, if I get on that website and I'm looking for things that we call conversion optimization. So even though you may have a great blog with hundreds of posts, even though you may have a logo that you love, if things are misplaced and if it doesn't make sense to the buyer, then it's not optimized for conversions, meaning that's why people are probably not clicking on things because it's not clear. So that goes back to my sideburn story in that I thought I was very clear in telling her sideburn. She heard sideburn and took it off. So we may be thinking we're communicating clearly, but once we get that outside perspective, we may learn that, wow, that's actually maybe confusing or it wasn't as straightforward. So I would highly recommend the audit or even signing up for the strategy call to do a deeper dive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask one more question? I don't know if anyone else has one.
Go ahead.
You mentioned the concept of the resource hub.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have sort of a list of times we've been quoted or a guest host on a podcast under a traditional kind of about page, which really does sort of center on me, but I don't want people to center on me so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering what your opinion would be like. Do we even need real about pages or what's the approach on that?
Yeah, about pages still have a place. They're actually the second most visited page on a website. So it's your homepage and then about page. So they definitely they have to have a place. But I would certainly take that content of all of the times that you've been on podcasts. And if these podcasters have given you like the full interview, or even if they're YouTube links, there are ways for you to embed YouTube links on your website so it looks very clean. Because imagine a resource hub where you can scroll and you're just seeing Gina on 8, 9, 10, 11 different places.
Right.
Remember, we're talking about notoriety here. So when people come to this theme park and they're like, I think I want to play around, and they see that you've been featured 10, 11, 12 places, immediately you're more qualified in their mind than, and this is where I see every day, than maybe a woman who has a business, maybe been in business longer than you, maybe has more experience than you, but because she's not investing in her content and her digital marketing, someone's going to choose you over her because you look like you know more than her. So I would definitely move it over to a resource page and put as many as you can, because that will only help.
Okay, thank you.
Another question. Caught part of what you said about GEO and what a website needs for GEO to pull. FAQ and question mark, question mark.
So FAQ section. You also want something that's called Q&A. So it's different than an FAQ, but similar. But a Q&A is like one question and answer. that you put on a website. So it literally can say Q&A, and then you list the question and then you answer it. And again, the reason why that's important is because that's what we're doing in AI. We're asking questions and we want answers. So we want to pull that. The other thing that I didn't mention this before, they're called because therefore cards. So if you have a designer and maybe you've seen kind of these graphic sections, they're like maybe little 3 blocks, but because therefore, because we understand AI engines, therefore your copy is going to get pulled by more AI engines. So think about it in your space. Because I XYZ, therefore XYZ. And that's another cue for an AI engine to pull those things. So that's the front end part. But this is where, if you at all feel like, oh, I am outside of my, like, this is beyond my pay grade, I need you to hear this. There's an entire back end development aspect that's called what we call coding and schema. And on the front end, you could be doing all of these things, but on the back end, if the coding isn't identifying those areas as a FAQ, as a Q&A, as a one line and a word summary, if you don't know how to do that, you could be doing all the front end stuff and AI won't read it, because AI, right, when we really think about it, it's this machine, it's reading code. So this is where, if you're like, I can do this, I'll just keep doing it myself, you're getting into a space and time where that's just really not an option. And so either you're going to go and spend a whole lot of money to learn how to be a developer, which is likely what your business is not, or you wouldn't be on this call, or you can begin to invest so you can stay on the cutting edge. Because I will tell you this, business owners I mean, industry people like me, marketing experts, people in tech, we're the first to hear about all of this, and we're always early adopters. So if you're in manufacturing, if you're in mental health, if you're in hospitality, think about it. It's going to be probably a couple of years before people actually begin to adopt this. And so if you can adopt it now in your industry today with all of us early adopters, I want you to think about the gold mine that you have in front of you and the opportunity that you have in front of you if you move now. You could wait, but then you'll wait when all the other mental health therapists are doing it, and now you're not standing out because everybody else is doing it. So just think about in that change management, where you want to be in that change.
So especially with that because and therefore those boxes, you don't necessarily have to have those in the design. They have to be labeled in the code in the back end.
Both. It needs to be front end and it needs to be back end.
And do you need to use the words because and therefore? Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't like those words at all.
I mean, websites are gonna just start looking so differently, because we're not building it for SEO, like we're not building it for Google anymore. You're going to start seeing these websites change, and they're going to be built for AI. So so we're already changing our homepage. Our team's already working on our homepage. And so I'm over here telling the team, this is what we need to do. And design-wise, I'm looking at it and it's just jarring to me. Because design-wise, I'm like, I wouldn't put a random one-line summary of what I just said in a 50-word summary of what I just said. But because I need this to be pulled by AI, so when people look up top web design agency that, focuses on GEO, it has to be there. So we're going to have to radically think differently about the way we have websites. And so here's the thing. If you already have a high-performing website that was considered standard high-performing website in the SEO age, cool, you're starting from there and we're moving. But if your website wasn't even SEO standard and it wasn't even high-performing standard in that age, and it was like way back over here from 2020 or before, 2015, my friend, you gotta move. You gotta move.
Liz, I saw you come off mute. Do you have a question, honey?
I kind of do.
Okay, go, go, go.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been in business over 25 years. We have the standard, like we do a lot of graphic design. So I'm trained as a designer, right?
Mhm.
So our website is really, it is an absolute static brochure. And all of our growth, our business growth has come through referrals, just like, somebody moving, whatever, doing, bringing somebody else
Yes.
into our fold. So this is like kind of blowing my mind in the sense that like there's so much that I need to do to get up to move our business away from the okay, referrals have worked in the past.
Yeah.
They still work, but we're seeing changes, right? We're seeing our buyers change. We're seeing just all the tech innovation and things like that. So we have to get up to speed and with our marketing
Mhm.
to reflect like who we are. And I guess, without getting overwhelmed, like what is there like a baby step website that like, can you even just take like a 10-page website right now that's just a static, boring thing and just do a 1-page AI ready kind of site that is not going to take a ton of time and a ton of resources to create and
Mhm.
then just kind of build off of that? Or do you have to just
Yeah. So, I
really,
mean,
yeah, I guess I don't.
I maybe pose the question back to you, and
Okay.
yes, you could, go the let me just do a one-page landing page for now, and get that done. But you heard me talk about like creating a digital theme park, and how that's important. So maybe talk to me about where that falls. And I hear you, like I totally hear you. We're in the similar space of web design agency and this pressure. And it's like we need to be doing these things, and we also need to find time to become a media company essentially
Yep.
as well.
Mhm.
So that, I mean, maybe after hearing all of this, do you feel like you have the bandwidth and the time? Sure, you can throw up a landing page for now, but that's a band-aid. Does your company have the time, and is it a priority to like stop the presses? We need a full work day to be rethinking strategy, and like now we need to become a content machine. So maybe talk to me a little bit about where your company, like as far as strategy thinking, are we allotting time for that?
Not enough. I mean, no, we're not. Like we're just not at the point at the moment, a lot of what we're doing, I'm trying to build in strategic time for myself, but as a
Mhm.
company, we're not doing it together, if that's kind of
Yeah.
what you're thinking. I mean, we sort of meet loosely on Monday and just talk about what are we going to post about this week,
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
coming from a just put something in there, let people know that we're still alive, but there's no
Yes.
like, and I know, like, I know all the things, right? I
Oh
just
yeah.
don't do them. And so that's part of my frustration around all of this too, is like, man, I know I need content pillars around social media. I know I need to do, our website has to be a
Yeah.
lead
Yeah.
generator, and it has to, have some sort of a funnel there, but it's like, man, I just can't get it. I just can't get to it. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
And it's like, it's like, how do you, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
I
guess,
would I would definitely schedule some time, because you and I could probably talk lots about it. I mean, we're an agency similar, like we're cranking out
yeah,
client work, and it looks
yes,
amazing. And
yeah,
everyone's website is, and we're doing all this research on behalf of the client, so that way they're cutting edge and their website is performing, because that's a reflection of us. And we want the review and we want our reputation. And yet it's like, wait, 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 we're so honed in on all this client work that we're going to look up and we're inevitably going to be left behind because we're not doing any of this for us. So I'd love to, even just share what we're doing as far as content strategy and hiring it internally for people to just own this for us, and specifically for me. So as the CEO of our company, I own my personal brand. I don't have time to do all of that. So I'm hiring someone to do it for me. But then I also want to talk to you because We have hosting and maintenance packages at Movement Maker that are not the 10, grand. Maybe we're not thinking a 10K rebuild, but for $300 to $400 a month, we can optimize and have all of these strategies that like GEO and AI optimization. So you're not having to do it. So you let the experts do it. We go and work with what you have and optimize. And you have a partner now that is a strategist that can meet with you and say, hey, this is what you need to be looking out for. So that could definitely be an option as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel you. I totally feel you, Liz.
Yeah, it's like total shoemakers,
Yes,
daughter.
do as I
I'm
say,
like,
not as I do.
yes, yes. Exactly.
And then last question, we have 4 minutes. How would a chatbot Q&A work with GEO?
So the chatbot Q&A, I think we're kind of mixing two things together. So when I say Q&A, it's literally text that says question, colon, what is GEO? Answer, colon, generative, GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. And it is so it's not, I'm not talking about what you're probably familiar with is this little side rectangle on your website that you say, book a call. And so that's it's not a generative AI, meaning it's not thinking and coming up with its own information. It's just like, yes, I will help you book a call. I'm talking about two separate things. Our agency is in the works though of building AI agents for our clients. So what does that mean? That means that if you're, I'm trying to think of an example, but for instance, I have a coach that has these 10 pillars that he teaches on. He's an executive coach. He's about to launch a book next fall. So we're in the works of helping him build an AI agent, basically his brain. So Dan Williams, executive coach's brain, because when he wants people to come on to the website, he wants them to interact with Dan. So, Dan, I'm struggling in my marriage, or I don't know what to do. I'm successful in business, and because we're going to load up, we're going to seed that AI agent with all of Dan's proprietary information, those little bots that we're used to are gone. Like that's a thing of the past. People want to feel like they're literally talking to you and leveraging your proprietary information, your frameworks, your knowledge. So two separate things. Chatbot is different than what I'm talking about, like question and answer.
But you need both generally.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have a chatbot is always just going to help with the human centeredness of your website, meaning it's helpful, right? And so having something to chat with is helpful. But I would be, I mean, this is your like permission slip to imagine. Like you get to imagine what would it look like if I had a Gina brain on my website? Like what would I upload to this brain for people to leverage? But my last thing that I'll say, because I have to jump off too. This is why personal branding is so important, because you could put your brain out there and be like, here's my brain. But if nobody cares about who you are, if you haven't built an audience, if you don't have a community that's following you and being like, I want what you have, if you don't have distribution power, then you're going to build a brain and you're going to be like, why would I want Leslie's stuff? I don't even know who she is. Like, okay.
Right.
So this is something that, and I know I'm throwing a lot at all of you, but I say it because what a time to be alive. That's what I think. Like I love the Renaissance. I've been to Italy twice. They're calling it the second Renaissance. And I feel like what a time to be 40 years old in 2025 and to be at the cusp of this and to be creating playbooks. So even though you may be feeling overwhelmed, nobody has a playbook yet. We're kind of getting information here and there, but for your industry, you could be creating playbooks for your industry if you move on it now.
Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Leslie, so much for coming. I was so excited about this webinar because you have so much knowledge to share. And for those that attended, you will be getting a workbook that Leslie has sent me to share with y'all to help you go through your website. And I will also send you the link to the video once we have that ready to go. And this will also be living in the Navo Institute as well for everyone else. So thank you for joining us. And we'll be back in 2 more weeks with another Power of You. So I hope everybody has a super great weekend. I hope you have lovely weather in all the different places that you are. And I'll see you back here super soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.